So Amberlynn Reid is finally taking a break from taking a break, and once again she's decided to remind everybody, most of all her members, that the $13 that people are spending at most in USD every month is definitely not worth it. Along with that, we hear Twinkie crying in the background, which is the most heartbreaking thing I have ever heard. Seriously, if you're not going to care for your dog, give her to someone else who will. Hey, what's up everybody? It's only Journey here, and I hope you're all having a wonderful whatever time it is for you guys right now. Amber is back. We are also talking about her first live stream back on the platform. I will be covering the other ones later. Now, we're just going to slightly skip over the fact that Amber has stopped doing the 2-hour live streams that she promised her members, because in all honesty, that is the least of our worries right now. Just a disclaimer that everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only and is my own opinion and knowledge I've collected throughout the universes to bring to you here. Please do not go harass anybody I talk about. That is not poggers. God, I just said that. If you like this video and want to see more in the future, then perhaps you should like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on the bell notification if you're feeling like a party, and once again, thank you to all my members. If you would like to join, it is only 99 cents. The best way to support the channel, though, is to like, comment, and subscribe if you would like to. I really appreciate it. Now, Amber starts off saying, like, hello to my members, if I have any members left, which, I mean, she does. She knows she does. She may say that she hasn't checked, but I'm pretty sure she has. She says she's back type deal, as if that made any sense, but hey, she's at least showing up to work somewhat. And her makeup was pretty on point, to be honest. Listen, I can be a hater, but I can also admit when the makeup is on fleek. And it was on fleek. People ask where she's been, she says she doesn't know. What, were you on a bender the last week and a half? How do you not know where you've been? She says she just needed another break for the sake of her sanity, as if any of this is actually going to go away. She can try to ignore it all, but seeing the pattern here, eventually she's going to get so much bombardment from her audience that she's going to be taking a break for the sake of her sanity yet again. People start accusing her of using a filter. She's flattered over this fact and then puts on a filter saying this is a filter, then takes it off. It looks exactly the same, so in all honesty, I don't know. Do I really care? No. I have used face tuning stuff to kind of get rid of my acne because I am very self-conscious about that, but in all honesty now, I don't care, and it takes too long to export when I use those filters. But yeah, basically, people say she's using a filter, she turns on a filter, then turns off the filter. She looks exactly the same. I don't trust it. She teased that due to these compliments, she was going to turn into a narcissist for a minute, which, to be honest, I think was a pretty tone-deaf thing to say, considering how she acts online, but that is just my opinion. She swears on everything she loves that she's not using a filter, and honestly, I take that as serious as Amber the atheist saying that she swears to God. She says she's so flattered and she doesn't know how to prove that it's not a filter, but, you know, she will keep doing her makeup in the way that she is. In all honesty, good. The makeup's good. I like it. It's nice. Not really important, but somebody asks if she uses dry shampoo. She says no and then says her hair is 2 days old, and my autistic ass just had to come in and say there is no way possible that your hair is only 2 days old. However long your hair has been growing is how old it is. Now, if you mean your hair wash is 2 days old, that's a different story. But it would be nice if you used clarifying words. There is a fruit fly trying to buzz into my face because I killed his brethren. Ignore him. She says that she's still doing Vlogmas and all she wants for Christmas is peace, love, and happiness. I mean, so do a lot of other people, and I think a lot of other people are a little more deserving of it. Not saying that she's not, but, like, don't get me wrong. I wish Amber all the happiness in the world, but at the same time, she needs to wish that for herself, and she needs to actually work on being a better human being, or she will stay miserable. Maybe if you could try being a little kinder to people, even if they piss you off. But no. Someone tells her that Rachel and Hecticana are cancelled. She says she doesn't care. I find cancelled a strong word, but I am quite disappointed in both of them. I will be covering Rachel flirting with Emily later. Apparently Rachel has a girlfriend. I hope her girlfriend knew about this and that she got, like, permission to do this, because I know this was like for the sake of receipts, and I can understand that aspect of it, but it's still kind of weird. Rachel, how could you do this to me? I simped for you. Amber says that she's single, yeah, and King Henry VIII was faithful to his wives. Moving on. She says this live stream is her trailer for Vlogmas. She says she's over 500 pounds, she lives on her own, she has 3 fur babies that she allegedly cares more about them than herself, I doubt that, and that she goes out maybe once a week. Then she bursts out laughing and says, well, besides the fact I take my dog out multiple times a day, as Twinkie cries in the background. Yes, I totally believe that you take your dog out multiple times a day. Those cries sounded like I need to go outside cries. She says her Vlogmas will be more like Boringmas. To me, that just kind of indicates that she was lying when she said she could just film her life and be done with it and not care about anything on the internet. But, I mean, are we really surprised? The reason why she can't vlog her life right now is because it's boring as hell. The one interesting thing about this whole thing is that she says allegedly for Vlogmas she is collaborating with somebody, which I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably either Chantal or Paradise Pearl. Because in all honesty, aside from those two, I don't know who else would want to associate themselves with her. Someone tells her she should start acting like she's in her 40s, and she takes offense to that as if she doesn't act like a narcissistic wine mom in the first place. She says she's barely 35 as if her birthday isn't in like a month and a half, and says that she'll act however her brain feels like an age, which is insanely emotionally immature as we have come to know. She says she would much rather act like herself on a daily basis than she would act old. In my experience of knowing a lot of elderly people, they are really sweet, generous, kind people, and I honestly think that Amber should start acting older, if that's the case. I think she could learn a thing or two from the elderly. Perhaps then she would leave people alone and stop perpetuating the drama surrounding her. Perhaps she could stop acting like an innocent baby as if she hasn't left paths of devastation after every relationship she's ever had. She doesn't know or care about anything to do with J-Bay, which, to be honest, even though she was answering a question, it was kind of out of pocket. If you don't know anything about the person people are asking you about, maybe you shouldn't say that. J-Bay is a fat acceptance influencer who believes that she is entitled to have people destroy their bodies to push her 500-pound body up a wheelchair ramp in an airport. She even protested at the airport. She was the only one who showed up. The body cam footage of her being trespassed and arrested from a hospital that she was at was released recently, and I mean, it's difficult to watch. It was found that she was suffering from delirium due to sepsis, which, holy crap, I am really glad that she got help for that, and I hope she is doing better. I do kind of worry about covering that footage because while it did show what an entitled brat she is in general, it is also, there is the fact that she was suffering from sepsis. Anyway, moving on. Somebody agrees with Amber that youth is incredibly priceless. In fact, they say invaluable. And Amber gets confused because she has never gone to school, apparently, and she does not know what invaluable means. No offense to anybody else who didn't know what invaluable meant. I'm sure you went to school. I'm only meaning this stuff when I talk about Amber. Anyway, Amber thought it meant worthless, she got offended, and then she's like, oh wait, I guess I meant unvaluable, and then people pointed out that that's not actually a word, and Amber was like, oops, and I'm like, it's okay, Amber, sometimes I don't know what words are real and what aren't either, because at the end of the day, all words are made up. English is a fucky language. It's so weird. We are just a bunch of other languages in a trench coat. I just hope we all know that. English makes a little more sense than Amberlyn Reed. Just a little bit. She has costume ideas for Halloween, but doesn't know if she's going to dress up on stream. She does. She did. She was like the devil. Girlie, you're supposed to dress as something that's not you. Someone asks if she's crying. She says no. I think she's always crying, to be honest. Someone says she's talking like Alexis. She says her and Alexis don't talk like that, and she hasn't spoken to Alexis on the phone since last year. Considering the fact she said her and Alexis were good in one of her deleted live streams, I severely doubt that. Also, I don't understand why you would go back to your ex-friend who said horrible things about you and you said horrible things about her, but you know what? To each their own. I am glad at least you guys have each other, so the rest of us don't have to suffer. but it is your supersized funeral when she betrays you again and you come crying back to the internet. Someone asks if she remembers being struck by lightning. She says, OMG, my audience will never believe that, which, I mean, at least she understands that part. She talks about how there was this super bad lightning storm at her apartment complex. Lightning hit the building and they've been having trouble with the internet ever since. And like, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. I really don't know the scientific happenings of lightning. The other story she's talking about from years prior is actually pretty plausible considering you're not supposed to have things plugged into outlets when there's a lightning storm. Amber says it was the middle of a lightning storm, and of course, nothing is going to stop her from charging her laptop and listening to some music with plugged-in earbuds. Because that was a smart decision. Totally. Yes. Genius. God. Anyway, allegedly, lightning hit near or on the building, and the lightning or electricity went through her cable to her laptop and then went through her earbuds, and she got zapped. Someone asks what the random marks on her hands are, and it is because of the kitty cats, which actually those ones do seem plausible. Those look like cat scratches, actually. Someone else brings up her TikTok thirst trap, and she says, my TikTok is actually like giving sarcastic, but also somehow body positivity at the same time. And she says the people calling it a thirst trap just must be attracted to her. Sure. Okay. You believe what you want to believe, honey. I don't really think that's how it works, but hey, call it whatever you want when you go into heat, decide to go on TikTok and fuck yourself. She says if you think fat is ugly, then you should think the most hot girl in the whole universe smoking a cigarette is just as ugly. Because that is how logic works, apparently. She says you should think this because cardiologists say the #1 thing you should never do is smoke. Which is true, you shouldn't. But I'm also pretty certain that cardiologists would say being 600 pounds ain't the best for your heart either. Also, like Ambi, have you heard of preferences? Aphrodite herself could smoke a cigarette, and I would still simp so hard. She says she's not health at every size, she's just body positive, and she thinks that people just get that confused, probably because she said that she is pretty healthy for somebody who's 500 pounds. Someone asks if she's going to address anything, and she says, like what? Like what? Girlie, you know exactly what. Don't play dumb. Then again, perhaps that's really your only talent, is playing dumb. And makeup. Your makeup is, again, pretty nice. I can give credit where credit is due, but you still suck. Someone says she's boring, and she says, well, if I'm boring, then why are over 2,000 people on this live stream? As if 2/3 aren't hate watching. Amber says her favorite body type is the goddess body, the one cavemen used to whack it to. She has curves in all the right places. Which, like, to be honest, would. Amber notes that she does not want to be skinny. She's never wanted to be skinny. That was never the goal. I mean, you wanted to be skinnier, didn't you? You started this channel at what, 250 pounds? She starts talking about mental health and goes on to say that her mental health has been amazing since taking Zoloft, which, you know, I agree it's better, but frankly, I don't know if she knows what amazing mental health really is. She said she was no longer wanting to be here and how Zoloft really helped that, and I agree it definitely gave her a good baseline, but you can't just rely on your medication for everything. You also have to be doing the work. I would be interested to see if Amber is doing the actual work required along with the medication. She goes on to say that even though her mental health is a lot better, she is still going through it publicly and privately. Allegedly, the private stuff involves Grandma Lynn having stage 4 cancer, which, regardless of who you are, it is so jarring to see somebody go through that. It is devastating. It is not fun. It really hurts to watch somebody you love, even if you don't get along with them all the time, go through an illness like that. I don't know if I've said this previously on the channel, but genuinely I do feel for Amber and her family when it comes to going through something like that. It is never something you want to go through. It is devastating to watch your family members go through that, and it's painful. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's a bitch. It's not something I wish on anybody, and honestly, I just hope that Grandma Lynn in her last months is able to be comfortable. She starts happy crying because she realizes how much better her mental health is, and I don't doubt that because, I mean, I had the same reaction when I realized I could finally feel emotions again. When I realized I felt happiness, I was scared. I hadn't felt happiness in a while at that point. And when I realized it was a good emotion for the first time in a very long time, I sobbed. So I understand the crying because your mental health has gotten better. I just don't know how good Amber's mental health is going to stay if she doesn't address the bad things she's done, if she doesn't take accountability, and if she doesn't work on herself. Because if you don't work on yourself, in my experience, you often stay miserable. During this, she tries to act like some type of mental health advocate, as if she hasn't been responsible for the downwards mental health of multiple people, including reaction channels, but hey. She says that people should be able to talk about their mental health wherever and whenever they want, which I disagree because there is a time and a place. I agree that people should definitely be more kind on the internet and that people should be more open with how mental health affects them on the internet, but I disagree that people should be able to do this whenever and wherever they please. There are times and places for it. And if you make that time and place yourself on your own channel, yay. But also, your audience is not your therapist. Someone says, y'all, she's happy, and she says, no, I'm single. You can't be happy and single? I've been happy and single. I think you can do it too. I believe in you. I guess somebody asks if she's going to go on another GLP-1, and she says that she wants to, but her doctor won't allow her to due to her pancreas and gallbladder issues. A lot of people make note that, hey, the pancreas and gallbladder issues are better than being 600 pounds, and she agrees. However, given my limited knowledge on gallstones and gallbladder issues, I can understand why her doctors would be worried about this. My bestie had a gallbladder attack. She is 96. Those gallbladder attacks feel like heart attacks. They raise your blood pressure sky high to the point that you could have a heart attack. You can feel sick, you can throw up, you can feel very dizzy, you can get very clammy, and it can be a lot of the same symptoms as a heart attack. Now, my bestie, for a 96-year-old woman, is fairly healthy. However, then we have Amber. Again, don't know much about all of that, but I feel like if she were to get pancreas and gallbladder issues from a GLP-1, she would be more at risk than somebody who is healthy. For that reason, if that's the case, I can understand why doctors would be worried about prescribing her a GLP-1. Also, because perhaps they know that she definitely does not have her eating addiction under control. Like we've said time and time again, it's not going to help if you don't get to the root cause of the issue. She says how much she loved GLP-1s as if she wasn't complaining most of the time she was on it, and setting herself up to stop being on a GLP-1. Now she can't get them and she's all like, but I loved it. But it was so good. Please. She says it's freeing to be on a GLP-1 and not have all that food noise, which as somebody who suffered from food addiction, I get it. However, again, you need to get to the root cause of the issue, and the GLP-1 is not going to fix that issue. You need to assess yourself. And Amber is allergic to that. She talks about her lymphedema and lipedema and how a GLP-1 can help with that, and how she's seen other patients on GLP-1s, have the GLP-1 help with the swelling of lymphedema and lipedema, which, I mean, yeah, fair, but also fix your relationship with food, maybe. No? You just want the drugs? Okay. And obviously, I can't read Amber's mind, but Christ on a stick does she act as if the GLP-1 is going to be the only thing that helps her lose weight. She is not even trying with any other method, at least not from what we've been seeing. She talks about learning how to do the lymphatic massages and how much they hurt. Okay, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do them. You should still do them. Maybe do that. And that is when she ends the live stream and frees us all from that until she does 3 more live streams over the next couple days, including one today, which I will cover at a later date. Overall, it felt like she was acting smug. She didn't really want to address anything, but when does she ever? She really just wanted to talk about her own life, stuff that she's rehashed over and over and over and over again, to the point where we all can tell what words are going to come out of her mouth before she even says them. She doesn't have empathy for people even if they're not reaction channels, which we done knew this already. At the end of the day, it's still Amber. And Amber is Amber is Amber is Amber. I think she really just tried to play dumb throughout this live stream and just talk about whatever she wanted to talk about and answer a couple questions that she was okay with answering. And, I mean, other than that, it was a pretty boring live stream. But then again, she really doesn't know how to do anything else other than talk at a camera and refuse to take accountability. But anyway, guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on the bell notification if you're feeling like a party. And once again, thank you to all my members. If you would like to join, it's only 99 cents. Thank you for your input, Jelly Bean. The best way to support the channel is to like, comment, and subscribe. It boosts the algorithm and gets my video out to more people. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!